grandfather bought it in 1917.
Oh. Is it right on the shore? It's like big,
It's on the,
big box.
it's on the St. George River highway.
All you gotta do is write a check.
100-year-old house ago, that is.
It's only money, right? The bank gives it away every day.
That's true. That's what we're gonna do with the bank.
Okay, so I'll call the meeting to order. First thing is approval of minutes of July 5th.
I'll make a motion, we approve the minutes of July 5th.
A second.
Any discussion?
They were great.
Okay.
A lot of good information.
Yeah, probably. Does a nice job filling in. Additions to the agenda.
Aye.
Alright. Additions to the agenda. We have tax refunds. Any other additions to the agenda? Is there a second to that? Same discussion. All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Communications. Town clerk received notice that Dermot Woods resigned as alternate to planning and zoning commission on July 12th. Also, the beach director, Marina Kachabi, has organized a music session at the town beach this Saturday from 5:30 to 8:30, so there'll be live music at the beach. And I've been down there several times. It looks nice, and seems to be quite a few people enjoying it. I think she's doing a good job. Any other communications?
What's up with the Wi-Fi in the office here? I wasn't able to get on 2 meetings ago, and it's still not available. And
Turned on, that's all I know.
Barbara said, don't ask me about the Wi-Fi last time, so it sounded like there was an issue. So there must still be an issue, because I can get onto the public, but I can't get on here.
It's turned on, so I don't know.
It's not working.
Can you get the public in this room?
Yeah, well, sort of, because of the walls.
Yeah.
It's just a little bit, but it's not even pulling up that the office is available, so.
I mean, Barbara is hardwired now, so where they're not,
Right.
I mean, the one that used to be in here was through her number. I'm not, maybe it's not turned on anymore. That was the only purpose of it, was to go through Barbara, but now she's hardwired, and they're hardwired there.
So you don't need Wi-Fi in the office, you're all hardwired.
It's on this side of the room.
This side. Over there is Wi-Fi.
Yeah, and I think the Wi-Fi generated in their building to go back to Park and Rec and the zoning office. And I think Gina's hardwired, and it comes through the assessor maybe? It might come through the town clerk, but anyway, they've got kind of one network over there.
Okay. So you just don't use Wi-Fi here anymore, so it may not be turned on. Okay.
So I could ask if it did be,
Yeah.
if that got turned off, since I just,
Yeah, you may not even have a box anymore if it's something that he determined wasn't needed anymore.
yeah, but what's turned on now is the one that comes out of the main room there.
Yeah, that one I pick up sort of.
So you're wondering about the old one that Barbara had.
Yeah, the old town office Wi-Fi.
Okay, any other communications?
And then the only other thing, people were wondering about parking in the area in front of the Wandering Moose. And it says no parking.
Yeah?
So is that section in front of the Moose his property or state property or public right away, or who owns it?
I believe it belongs to the state.
Okay, so what's the purpose of the no parking signs?
I don't think no parking signs there are enforceable. So so.
Right, but
But if somebody wants to, no parking sign in their window, it's probably freedom of
you
speech,
could just do it.
I suppose.
Just if
But it
if
doesn't-
someone parked there, there would be no enforcement of it
Correct.
because
It's a state,
it's public.
I believe
or
it's state right
right.
away.
Okay.
So,
And has anyone asked him why the signs are there? Could you take them down? And
I
it's-
can make that call tomorrow to find out.
I mean, when you got, you know, it's hard enough to try to get people down there, and if they got no
Right.
parking signs and a
Yeah.
pretty good spot, available spot for parking, and people, there are those honest people in this world who won't park there because it says no parking.
Yeah.
Are those the old signs that have always been there? Are those the old signs that have been there?
No.
I don't.
Just signs in the windows.
Yeah, in the windows of the building it says no parking.
Okay, any other communications?
That's it.
Public comments? Public comments? Okay, the first thing is budget transfers. Okay, so I think it's, we've got a summary of the year, that previous year that ended July 1st. Actuals at this point. There's still a few outstanding bills that will be there, but there's enough certainty in the numbers to let us do some budget transfers as necessary for the year end. On the first page, do you have a copy of this?
Yeah.
On the first page, I think it's important to go over, maybe go over all the numbers, but the big numbers are the revenue numbers. And it's also important to underestimate your revenues and sometimes over budget your expenditures so you have money left over at the end of the year. So anyway, what we found out this year, we did have a very good year as far as revenues. We go down through there, starting at the top. Town clerk took in more fees than budgeted, and especially as we go down, you can see we collected approximately $170,000 more in back taxes than we had budgeted. And as we go further down, so
That's
we,
pretty nice.
yeah, so we set off with a $250,000 ahead, $250,000 ahead, basically because of work to collect overdue taxes. But then the state did not fund fully its obligations or its promises or its estimates of state education grants and local capital improvement programs. So that was a hit of almost $70,000. So it was nice that we were ahead on the other categories, or else we would have had a hole in the budget. We still came out about $170,000, $180,000 ahead of what we budgeted.
Undesignated fund balance,
Yes.
help me with that one.
So that is, that's the amount of money that is budgeted every year out of the undesignated fund balance of town savings, town surplus, to help balance the budget. The town does have substantial savings, some of which is
That's
required, some of which is in excess of the requirement.
right.
So every year, the Board of Finance looks at that number and puts a number into the budget, because there's no point in taxing if we have a healthy surplus. So this year, because of our revenue increases, we did not have to dip into the undesignated fund balance appropriation, so that's why it's a zero there for expenditures out of that amount.
So this was allocated money from our own pocket that
Right.
we did not have to,
Town savings.
yes,
Yeah.
from town
That we did
savings.
not
that
have to use.
That we did not have to use. So as a negative 200,000, that's okay.
That's good. Yeah. So that's mostly the revenues. The
What $5,000 grant did we get that we didn't spend?
What did you ask, Penny?
Sorry, there's a line item that just says grants. We got $5,000 and it was not spent, so I didn't know what it was for.
which
Maybe
is
we budgeted
which
5,000.
which line are you on?
300452. Oh, or was it that we budgeted for it and it just didn't come in?
Right. I think again, often we receive grants and things, and I don't think that was anything in particular. We did get somewhere, yeah, the town clerk's grant, that came in, but I think there's some money thinking that we're gonna get some grants, and it's been a tough year for
Oh, so that's
extra things.
projected grants
Correct.
that didn't come in, $5,000.
Right.
Okay.
Okay, so that's most of the revenues. Then the expense side was somewhat tighter. And we are specifically looking at the first budget transfer would be going to the selectmen's office account because we went over slightly on legal notices and supplies. Not a major overage, but Barbara feels $306 would be adequate to cover that. And again, you can see at this point, the Board of Selectmen, there's $273 over. She feels a $306 transfer would cover that, so that is our first budget transfer request. The Board of Finance is meeting tomorrow night to act on these requests.
And it's required that we be under on each one of these bottom department totals.
Right. Yes, the lines, the small lines can vary, but the bottom line has to be over.
You want to vote on each one as we go?
Right, yeah. So why don't we do that? So I make a motion that we do a $306 transfer. And again, these are out of contingency. We have $30,000 in contingency funds that we have not yet touched, and we will be touching it tonight. So I'll make a motion. I think you all have a copy of this. This is number 5 transfer. I'm using it a little bit out. Maybe that's for the year. First one.
Yeah, the email, she said once before, we're already done.
Okay,
Yeah.
right, so we're
Five.
starting with number 5. So that's $306 from contingency to Selectmen's office.
Second.
Any discussion? All those in favor? Okay, so then we go down through the highway or the budget until we get to page number 2, Highway Department. You can see currently the bottom line of the Highway Department is over slightly about 11,000, less than $11,000. And that's primarily towards, because we've encumbered money out of that we didn't anticipate when we were doing the budget. The bridge survey came out of here, $8,500, and also out of here is the expected charge to do the engineering of the Cornwall Bridge crossing.
Those are the two major additional expenses on
That
the
we didn't
contracted
see.
services. Is that
Right,
correct?
and you can see, unlike last year, we did go over on snow removal
Slightly.
slightly. But we had more storms. Put out more road
Interesting
material.
that how high the garage heaters are. Keeping it warmer. Was it colder this year, this last winter?
Took on the zero for a while.
So I would make a motion that we transfer $10,600 to the highway department.
Second.
Realizing we did more work as far as planning, studies, engineering than we have in the past out of that department. Speaking of which, I'll try to get a date for this.
That was a minus to the fuel and oil, so we spent $9,000 less, not more.
That's on, yeah, on
Right, so-
road fuel. I'm talking about garage heaters.
Oh, gosh, heat.
He was up.
Heat was up and fuel, correct.
Okay. I was thinking fuel oil was heating oil. What, that's the cars. Okay.
So, then our,
So all in favor of that one?
and I did hear from Roger, apparently the Flat Rocks bridge casting, somebody else wasn't ready to go, so they casted our concrete, and so that's on track to go for August. So I'll try, if I get an exact date, we'll publicize that heavily, but I think we're still good for mid-August.
Yeah, we're gonna do like a, bridge will be closed as of such and such a date.
Right,
So
warning,
people who are
yeah,
there on their like daily
Yeah.
commute will know in advance to
Right.
come up with something else.
yeah. Warning,
Putting it up several weeks ahead of time.
Yeah, a couple weeks, whatever, just so people know. They don't show up that morning, running late.
But that'll still happen.
I'm sure. But at least those that normally take that route will know in advance,
right.
alright, let's go the other way.
so then, the next one is highway vehicle maintenance. We did have to do a motor rebuild on truck 6, and we also did a rebuild of the mower head on the Ford 660. So, so then I'd make a motion that we allocate $3,600 to the repair line
That's
for
it.
vehicle maintenance. Any discussion? All in favor? Aye. Next is a transfer into sanitation, temporary labor. We went over that budgeted amount. Slightly. Which is why you see wages and salaries. We have been going over slightly for a couple of years, but what was interesting, this is the first year in a long time that also we have at the year's end been very tight with the numbers for hauling garbage. As garbage is an economic indicator, the better the economy, the more garbage. This is the first time we've seen both in bulky waste and municipal solid waste a increase over the budgeted line and a pretty dramatic increase over last year's actuals with more building activity and more stuff. Now, hopefully, and what's also interesting to look at the sanitation and recycling, you can see that the amount of hauling and disposing of bulky waste exceeded the amount for household garbage, which usually it's the reverse. So there's more people cleaning their houses out, there's more activity, there's more somewhat small construction jobs, there's just a lot of bulky waste. So it's very good that we have the John Laporta swap shop to try to keep that number down as much as possible. But regardless, the rates have gone up somewhat, but the rates are reflected in the CRA contract, not in the hauling.
Not the hauling.
Also on that, one of our workers there does go on weekend training for the fire department. So I allow him to do that, and then we have to hire somebody else in to take his place when that goes on. But I think a lot of the training is useful. It's usually available on the weekends, and it's a good deal for us to get somebody trained. So that's another reason why we've spent more on temporary labor than we have perhaps in the past. So I'd make a motion that we transfer contingency $3,300 into wages, salary, transfer station.
Second.
So,
All in favor of that?
all in favor?
Aye.
So then, last but not least, on the last page, you can see we were over quite a bit on utilities and town council. Some of that, you can see the explanation there. We had to buy a couple of computers, and we've had increased IT support. And we also have been under budgeting in the utility line.
I thought our utility line was really, really low because of all the solar panels that we have.
The solar panel's been offset by the telephone bill. So that's one thing we've got to take a look at.
What do you mean?
I think we do have, I mean, there's three or four things that go into the utility line. The power bill, the telephone bill, the cable bill, the water bill, of which the telephone bill is the highest, the power bill is the next, and for over there it's basically zero, but we still have a power bill for here. So I think we do, we'll take a look in the coming months about, is there a better way to do the phone system or a less expensive way, what works, what doesn't, and that's the trade-offs.
Mm.
And we also did have more legal expenses. Some of those go back a while, to the days of trying to get a cell tower into the gravel bank, so.
Why did they wait 2 years to send it bill?
Well, I think the file was open, which is
Waiting.
not an excuse, but usually they wait till a happy ending
Right.
of the closure of the case to send the bill, and there's not, and I think that issue's gone by at this point, so.
Yeah.
So I make a motion that we transfer in $11,630 town office administration to balance those accounts.
Second.
Any discussion? So even with these heavy hits to the contingency fund, there is still a substantial surplus in the town budget expense side. We underspent our budgeted amount by roughly $40,000 even with these transfers. So that's what we should be doing. So anything else on budget transfers? Again, the auditor's here. The Board of Finance's meeting tomorrow night to vote on this.
We used up virtually all of the contingency fund.
Yeah.
And we're closer to 50,000, under 50,000.
Yeah, there's roughly 50,000.
And if we needed to compensate somewhere, we could have taken it from somewhere else besides the
Correct.
contingency.
The Board of Finance can take it from another line and balance out using that 50,000. They can take up to $20,000 and increase the spending if they
On
feel.
any line between any line.
Right.
Yeah.
They feel it's justified, and again, having a good revenue year helps.
Well, it's nice to see
So
that
we came in.
we came in under budget.
Right. Yeah. Okay, so next item is the Cornwall Bridge crosswalk. We have some plans drawn up by an engineer. And I think the critical one is this map. Which shows the crosswalk going essentially where it is now. The key thing is this little fine print here, which says constructed island 10 by 70, which is it's in front of, here's the store. Country Market is here. So that will be a big change.
10 by 70 this way or
This way.
So that chokes down their entrance
Their
and
entrance.
exit.
Right, but there's still 50 feet on each side. So I did meet on the porch with James and Adela, and they had questions. The biggest question was, would this be a concrete blob or could they plant it? They have the current island very nicely planted with stuff. I did talk to the engineer to see whether it had to be that size. He said to get the spaces to get your spaces for your signs, and also what they're concerned about in the engineering world is in the middle of the island there is a flat space where someone in a wheelchair can go and activate the sign and then bravely go across Route 7. So they want to have...
This isn't a continuous island, there's a pathway through the
Yeah,
middle.
there's a cutout in the middle, concrete, level.
So not just in a wheelchair, anybody would go that route.
Right, and it's good, you know, it's protection from somebody coming in here and going, you know, knocking somebody over and.
Yeah, 90
I-
miles an hour to get into a parking space.
Right, and James and Adele thought that perhaps by making this more controlled, it might cut down on some of the parking issues that happen when people come in at funny angles and stuff. So they were, as long as it can be planted, they were okay with it and assuring them that their parking would be the same. I got back to our engineer and he said that a lot of this will be subject to DOT approval, so the plan, or the idea is to submit these plans and then there'll be a big site visit and discussion of what's, you know, how this all works from DOT standpoint. But this would meet the engineering code as far as having an area that you could activate this from a flat space.
And what about the other side? What do they
Basically,
require over there?
because that is in the grassy area, that would have to be a concrete slab, but it wouldn't be as big as it would be here because you're basically on the grass.
But why is that? Because their two entrances are smaller than the market?
I think they're already out of the, this is in the middle of traffic, and I think this is already sort of.
You're there.
Oh, we're
you're
not
out.
worried about cars pulling in and out because there's no.
Right,
Right,
see,
you'd be through this before you start pulling into the.
this ends on the grass
Right.
Yeah.
currently. If it was moved down here,
Then
you'd
it
end in
would
the
be
parking
narrow.
lot, so you'd have all that, so.
Do you know what this, does this mean anything, this white?
I asked him what that was, and that was something, but I'm not quite sure what that is.
Path to the front of the store, maybe?
It might be a call to have a level, you know, area here so you can get there if you're wheeling. I'm not sure if they have a handicap spot here. They do have a handicap ramp on that
Over
end.
there.
Sure.
Kind of weird. Like, what is this?
And I asked him the same thing, and he said that was.
Is there anything else in there that explains it? Almost not. We got time to ask him again
Right.
before anything's gonna be built, so.
But it
I'm
could
sure
be-
DOT's gonna have some input too.
Right, and it'll be a while, so my thought is we should push this on to the next level and at least get a meeting with DOT and see what they have to say, because that's probably gonna be September.
With the engineer.
Right,
I did see over here in the real small print, it said eliminating, if I understood it correct, if I understood what this was saying, eliminating the passing zones down in front of the motel.
uh-huh,
No, there is no passing zone there, right? It's further down.
It's further down.
People pass there all the time, but they're not supposed
Down by
to.
the lumber yard.
Well, that's the motel.
Yeah.
Down a little bit
Motel is a
further,
double yellow.
yeah. Oh, they're gonna eliminate that, that's
Well,
what it says.
Where,
There's a double yellow line in front of the motel.
so where is it then?
There's a
Just
little
going
strip.
south.
Right in front of the firehouse?
Yep, just, yeah, as you're coming down the hill, basically,
No, we-
that hill
The hill
turns into.
that crosses the bridge.
Because it says right here, okay. Eradicate southbound passing zone between mile, and eradicate northbound passing zone. So there must be, is there a double passing zone either way?
Yes, there's
Yeah,
one
but-
as you're going south, after you pass the lumber yard, and you start crossing that little bridge and going up the hill.
Yeah, they're not in the exact same location, but anyway.
And then the
it's-
other one's a little
Right.
further
I mean, to be
down.
further discussed, but that would be a good thing.
right, we don't need to be doing
But
that.
people pass there anyway, so it doesn't matter.
They may, but this is encourages.
Please do not pass.
Yeah, this encourages them to pass there.
Right,
instead
I don't
of
know,
discouraging
it'll
them.
be interesting to see if DOT will approve that, because usually there's so few passing zones on Route 7 that a lot of times they don't eliminate.
I think that one's already been shrunk up some too. I
Right.
remember it used to be longer.
Although, when Mountainside requested elimination of the passing zone in front of their place years ago, DOT said no. And then when they put in their crosswalk,
They got
all of
rid
a
of it?
sudden it was a double line.
Okay.
So
So
that
it's
might
slow-
make the difference.
Well, again, you do what you can to slow it down.
Yeah.
So I would make a motion that we send this, or encourage the engineer to send this off to DOT.
Does he feel it's complete to?
Yeah.
It's ready to go.
Yeah. Is there a second?
Yep, second.
Any discussion? All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Okay. Tale of Two Cities, the West Cornwall pedestrian zone. I talked to my friends at the local DOT garage who said that the pedestrian signs in West Cornwall were removed as part of a federal program to look at street signs to make sure they're in compliance, and those were not in compliance, so they were taken down. Since then, because of our concerns, they have been reestablished as part of the federal program, which is done by a contractor, not by DOT workers. So they have to wait for the contractor to come back and put the signs back up. He said that he has a postie with my name on it with West Cornwall pedestrian signs on his wall. He hasn't forgotten about it, and he's talking to his bosses about trying to get the program expedited, get them back up.
So is it like a different picture or something on it?
It's not a different picture, just fairly different program that they had some federal grant to come through and look at all
Oh, that makes
things.
sense. Pull them out,
Thing,
put them back in.
and have a contractor to do it. So, yeah, it's discouraging to hear how things work
Yeah.
sometimes, but anyway, apparently he's following up on it, and I will follow up with him again and get another postie or whatever it takes to get those back up. Any more on that? The meeting of the Council of Governments, July 13th, was interesting. There was this presentation on the State Plan of Conservation Development. Also on the Regional Plan of Conservation Development, which is available on the Northwest COG website. It's quite interesting. And we also met with the new CEO of Sharon Hospital and the chairman of the board of directors for their plans for the future are quite extensive, and they feel their partnership with HealthQuest and Vassar Brothers will allow them to increase their patient census, occupancy rate of Sharon Hospital, and take advantage of some economies coming out of the Hudson Valley hospitals to keep Sharon growing. That's, I think, very important to this town, to this region. Also, our ambulance gets its medical control through Sharon Hospital, and with healthcare up in the air, keeping our local hospitals going is a really important thing. So it's good to hear some new energy, new optimism about what could happen there.
Is that transfer done now? Closed?
I believe so. And here is somewhere my pile of paper.
How long ago was the last change of Sharon Hospital ownership? About 10 years, 15 years?
No, longer than that. It was, 15, it's 2000.
Not when it went to for-profit though.
Went to-
right?
Yeah,
It went to for-profit in 2001.
Was it that clear?
Yeah. Pretty close to
And
that.
that's when it all changed, all the
Right,
all the things went into motion about it.
right.
And now it's come full circle back.
What's also interesting, they said that the hospitals in the Hudson Valley, Northern Dutchess Hospital and Vassar Brothers, are full to over capacity. Again, more economic growth, more people moving into those areas, whereas Sharon Hospital has room for more people. So here's their handout if anybody wants to take that.
Did the hospital close in the Hudson Valley?
No? Not that I know.
Is that possibly what happened at some point in the past?
I don't know. At least they're building, they're expanding both. So that's Sharon Hospital. The COG, some members of the COG are also looking at a collaborative approach for self-insurance for towns, boards of education. So there's a separate subgroup looking at that. So we'll see where that goes. Legislative update, everybody's waiting for the budget. There is also a grant proposal that they've had that COG has hired Malone and McBroom to do a feasibility study on the trail, a bike trail from Kent to Cornwall Bridge. So that's going on. And again, that would be trying to get bikes off or safer on Route 7. So that was the COG meeting that went on a little longer than expected. Any questions on that? Let's see. Additions to the agenda. Tax returns. Yeah, refund. Here we have the office of the tax collector. We have one for $28.28, and we'd have another one for $29.53. So I would move we would grant both of these on recommendation of the tax collector. So, second, any discussion? There are these two things. We don't sign these, Joyce, you just record our action on there, is that right?
Yeah.
Any more discussion? All those in favor? Aye. Okay, let's see. Public comment? Any public comments?
Well, in the interest of my story about...
Okay, you hope you got an interesting story.
Oh, I have a lot of interest in the story about the removal of the pedestrian signs that are in West Cornwall.
Right.
So, you said the federal government removed them. Which department would that be?
I assume that's transportation.
They came and they took them away.
Well, there was some contractor that had a contract to look at signage on state roads, and apparently the contractor took them away.
Okay.
so-
They didn't notify the town, just
No,
took
because
them
it's a
away.
state road.
Oh, yes, okay. So then, now they've agreed to
'em
replace
back.
them and put them back.
Mhm.
With exactly the same look as they had before.
Pretty much, I think, yeah.
And they have a grant to do
So-
it, so.
Yeah, and hopefully they've got a contractor to do it. I mean, it's a little bit of a indication maybe why the state and federal government are running out of money, but that may be fresh.
Thank
So,
you.
Thank you.
Tax dollars.
Tactile, yeah, stimulus. Okay, that's it for public comments. So all we have now is bill payment, bank reconciliation. I don't think we have the bank reconciliation.
Yeah, no, she's waiting on final.
Right.
So that's it, right?
Yeah.
That's all the news that fits.
Oh, okay.
You wanna watch us pay those.
That's okay.